Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. So in today's video I thought I'd tie one of my sea trout patterns. So the pattern I've decided to tie today is the Muscovy. The Muscovy is a favourite of mine alongside the PR night spider, which a few of you may know or have tied or fished. The PR night spider has been very successful, but next to it is the Muscovy. Especially late on in the season, I find the Muscovy comes into its best from the end of July all the way through then. So I decided to tie this pattern just because we've got to that stage in the season now and it's come to the back end. So this is the fly that I would have opted for during the last months of the season. So the colour combination, I believe, this time of year works really well. So darker shades, darker blues, darker reds, darker oranges this time of year. As you know, these fish, they see in a completely different light spectrum to what we do. So I believe that showing them different shades can pay off sometimes, especially, like I say, late on in the season. So the colour combination doesn't change, but the profile and the silhouette does. In low water, I would sparsely dress the fly, purely because I want that free movement from low flow to move the fly. But in medium to normal level water, when the river's running at its normal height, then I would then just fish this same dressing but on a longer shank, which I have here. So I'll get back to the tie-in now. So the hook I've got in the vise is a kamasan B800 on a size 6. So the thread that I'm using here is a Semperfli classic waxed in 8/0. So I'm just going to start there just behind the eye, so a few millimeters away, and then I'm just going to work down the body, laying down a bed of thread, and then I'll continue down, and then I'll stop at this point like so, and then I'm going to snip off the excess thread and then just continue the thread just down to the hook point like so. And then for the tail, I'm going to be using golden pheasant tippet dyed red. So I'm just going to take the fluff away here from the base of the feather, and then I'm going to select a nice bunch from the feather, roughly around 6 to 7 fibres should be enough. And then with my thumb and forefinger, I'll align the tippet back up, but then I'm still then holding the correct amount there, and then I can then line the tippet up, the tips up, and then snip away. And then for length, I just like the tips just protruding past the bend, and the second bar on the feather itself will roughly be just shy of the bend. And then because the feather is a little long there, I'm just going to snip at an angle away, and then I'm just going to tie down the butt ends of the feather. So I'll bring the thread all the way back up, again bringing it all the way back up, just a couple of millimeters away from the eye, and then come back down There's no need to be too precise here with thread wraps, as long as you've got no bumps and humps in the body, as long as you've got an even amount of thread on and you keep everything neat and tidy. Then the next material that I'm going to be using is holographic flat braid from Semperfli, and I'm just going to catch this in on my side and then bring the thread back up the body, just securing in that flat braid until you get to that point, and then one straight turn at the back, and then in touching turns bring the flat braid then up the body in touching turns. The flat braid is a great material to use. Saves a lot of time while tying as well, because you know, you haven't got to rib the fly, but you've got the durability from the flat braid, ensuring that the fish's teeth don't damage any of the normal kind of silver tinsel that you would use. The flat braid for me usually lasts a good few fish before it starts to fray, so the lifespan of the fly there is prolonged. So I'll just make a nice foundation base there now for the next stage, which is spey hackle. And this is a great mobile material to use. So the way I tie this in is by the tip. So I just sweep all the fibres down until I find the centre in the tip. It's quite thin and delicate, the tip, so just take your time at this stage. Once you're happy that you've exposed the tip, then I'm going to, on my side, just catch in the tip and then fold back and secure. And then I'm just going to break away the tip. So I'm now ready to wind the hackle. So I'm going to use my hackle pliers here and then just brush them fibres back and then just fold them back, and then in nice straight turns I'm going to wind, keeping the turns as straight as I can. So with this feather I'm looking to use all of the feather, so I just try and keep stroking the fibres back as you wind the hackle. The stalk on this can be quite delicate, so I'd be probably best off using my thumb and forefinger there to wind this hackle, which I think I'm going to do. Yeah, so I'll catch that there and secure that in. So I'll secure the stalk down and then fold it back and then tie over. And once I've tied over the stalk and that's secure, I'm just going to snip away the butt end of the stalk. And then just brush them fibres back out of the way. And then for the next stage, I'm going to select a strand of mirror flash. So I'm just going to prepare. So it's just one strand, and then what I do is just double it over. So just place it there underneath the thread, catch in and fold them back. And then once you've folded them back, just brush them out the way, and then I'll just snip them to length. 2. So the next stage will be the middle hackle, which is a schlappen feather dyed black. So schlappen is another great mobile feather. So I'm just going to rip away the fluff from the bottom, from the base of the feather. And then I'm just going to expose the tip. And once I've exposed the tip, I then got a tying in point, which I will on my side. So I'm just going to put a few extra wraps down there just to get that base nice and even. So just tie in by the tip there and tie over the stalk just to secure. And then I'm going to break away the tip. And then once I've broken away that tip, I can then start to wind. But first I'm just going to, again, wet my fingers and just stroke them fibres back and just fold them back so I'm satisfied that they're all folded nicely back, so I can get that first nice straight turn, like so. And then I'll just start to wind the hackle now. So you'll see once this is wound all the way now, I'll put about 3 or 4 turns into this, and then you'll see how well the profile is pronounced. So as I wind, I'm just trying to visualize how much of the feather that I need to use. So once I've got to that stage, I'll then rip away a few of the fibres so I have a tying in point. So, and then I'll go back round once more and then catch that in. 2 wraps there then, just to secure the stalk down. And then you can tie over and then snip away that butt end of the stalk. So now you can see that profile starting to build there now. So for the collar hackle, which is the last stage of the fly, unless we're going to use jungle cock cheeks, which can be optional. For this pattern that I'm tying in this video, I'm going to keep it without jungle cock. For my fishing patterns, I usually leave the jungle cock out, or if I do use jungle cock for my fishing flies, especially for sea trout, I'll use artificial jungle cock, but I don't think it really brings anything to the fly. So I just, for my this is a fishing pattern, so for this pattern I'll just leave it without. So I'm just gonna, again, a straight wind, brush them fibres back, nice straight turns. I'm going to use 3 to 4 winds here of the hackle, and we'll just take a look to see what it looks like. If the 4th one is too much, I'll leave it out and just go back 1 wind, but I'll just have a look. There's 4, yeah, that looks fine. So I'll just catch in the stalk there and then just fold that stalk back, and then I'll build the head as I go. So just figure of eighting the thread there. I'll keep building that head until I'm happy. And then whip finish. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, and then pull tight and then snip away the thread to finish. So that's the fly done. So all that's left to do now is either put a coat of varnish on, resin or super glue, whatever's your preference. For me, I like to use resin nowadays just for speed and durability. So I use the Raid app. So it's just a lot faster and it goes off rock solid, and I've had no problems with it since I've been using it. So it's a great resin to use if you're looking to use resin to finish your heads. I've always used varnish until I came across this. I know a few guys that are using it now to finish off their heads, and yeah, I give it a good test this season to see how well it lasts on the head, and it really does last and do what it says on the tin, so, or on the bottle rather. But yeah, I'm just going to give it a quick zap there now, and that should cure instantly, which is great because that's what you want with resin. And now that's gone off rock solid, so that's the fly finished. If you've liked this video, give me a thumbs up or subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.